Cat, and it is Saturday. I am here to check in. Profuse apologies for not checking in before this because I know I'm rather late. But this month, you guys, has been just crazy. It's been so crazy. I've been trying to teach my kids, I'm homeschooling them, and it's just been so busy with so much. And anyway, let's move on. You know that I've been doing the Starch Solution challenge for the month of October. Prior to this, I did 2 weeks of 3/4 day low carb, and that was real interesting. I gave kind of a conclusion to that. Midway through this month, I gave a pros and cons for going on the Starch Solution for myself. And so now, instead of doing a pros and cons, I decided to do a things I learned this month video while doing this. Now, I have to be honest here and say that the first 2 weeks I was really gung-ho of this month, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do Starch Solution Extreme. I'm just gonna have the 50-50 plate where I do half vegetables, half a starch, and that's it. I'm not gonna be adding a lot of fat, if any at all, and I'm going to just stick to the program, right? Just really. And then the second 2 weeks, I would have to say, I started saying, you know what? If I want some bread, I'm going to add bread in. If I want some tortillas, I'm going to add tortillas in. I'm going to add a little bit of fat here. I started thinking, I want to be happy too. I don't just want to live so extreme that, I just felt more and more secluded. And I didn't want that. So I started adding a few little things in. So I wasn't going the extreme weight loss play. Let me just let you know, first off, my weight loss during this month. I lost a good 3 pounds, right? Which may not seem like a whole lot, but I am ecstatic about it because that's not counting extra water that fluctuates and goes up and down. That is 3 pounds that I know is a good solid, you know what I mean? It's listening to Dr. Doug Lyle, who's a wonderful psychologist that works with Dr. McDougall, as well as others. He was saying in one of his videos how, you really, when you lose, a pound overnight, or you lose 2 or 3 pounds a week or something, what you're really doing is you're counting water fluctuations, and the realistically, what you're doing is losing ounces a week. And it's, and I know they say, if you want to lose 1 pound a week, you have to cut back so much, and it's equals 3,200 calories or something like that. Realistically, do people really do that? I don't think so, but I do think they cut back enough to lose a certain amount of ounces a week, and that's okay with me, because if I have to chip away at the whatever I have left, I'll do it, and I want to live happy at the same time, right? So 3 pounds, I am very happy about it. Now, remember, I also had a second leg injury that was pretty bad this month, and I ended up tearing the rest of my ACL, and it was quite painful. And so I moved less this month, and I ate more carbs. And so considering that, losing 3 pounds is really wonderful. All right, so let me get started with the things that I learned this month. Number one, and I knew this, but it really drove it home to me that carbs are not to be feared. For me, they're just not bad. And I leaned on the good carbs, the whole grains, the whole foods. I really, looking back at it, my main carbs this month were oats, rice, and I started out with brown rice, and then I got turned off real fast. I'm okay with some brown rice, but my favorite is short grain, fancy white rice, and I love that, so I went to that, took the WW purple points for them, which was 5 points per serving, and I was happy with that. I was really, really happy with that. I think during the last 2 weeks, I started adding in, during the whole month I had 2 sandwiches, right? And I didn't eat a whole lot of potatoes this month like I thought I would. And I think I had corn tortillas twice, and a couple of times I had a low carb whole grain tortilla, right? And as a wrap or something like that. So not a whole lot, but mostly I guess just rice and things like that. Last 2 weeks I started getting really tired of not adding in fat, and I think I had avocado twice during this month, the latter half of the month. And I added a little bit of fat in there. Not much peanut butter. Some things that I saw that I was staying away from. I have not had cheese this month, except when we would go over to a friend's house and eat, and they had like a pizza or something. I'd have like one slice, and there was some cheese on that. So I mean, it was very sparingly, but at home I never did. And when we went out to eat, I never ordered anything with cheese. So that... didn't have any, didn't really have like milk products, didn't have any yogurt this month, didn't have any eggs, which was crazy. Once, I had eggs once when my husband made them for me, but that was it. And so there was a lot of stuff that I really went without, that I just didn't really use. And I was really surprised that I could, find other ways to do it. Some of the things that I noticed was when I would try to make things that were like totally non-fat plant-based, sometimes they would work and sometimes it would just be, I'd try it once, like the artichoke spread I made. I thought that was really good. It was very lemony and artichokey, and I found that I had to be in the mood for it, and that I think was something that I'd really have to change my taste toward. It wasn't a familiar taste to me, and so I found myself kind of avoiding it. So that was very interesting. Number one, really I learned, so that carbs were really not bad, that I really embraced them. Number two, I can lose weight while eating those carbs. That was a great thing to learn. And number three, I can eat less fat and be satisfied. I noticed, I was kind of like really nervous about the times that I was adding fat, like avocado or something. So when I did, I just chose less, and I thought maybe I was going to be really hungry and I would be less satisfied, but I wasn't. It was like having less worked out fine, but having some was nice, right? And so I really, it made me not take like a whole serving of the fat. And I thought at first I was going to be wanting, but I wasn't. It was fine, so having less of it was a neat thing to learn. Number four, eating with my family is really important to me, and this was a really big thing for me. So I learned then I'll make healthy food. I'll make more healthy food for my family because I want to eat what they're eating. And a lot of times during the month, I felt like even though I was with them, I felt more isolated because I wasn't sharing what they were having. And again, I covered this before, my family doesn't want to do the Starch Solution as a lifestyle. And I found that if they're not going to do that, I really want to do more of what they're doing. I want us to do whatever we're doing together, more of that, right? During the day when we're kind of separated and I could do more of those choices, I found out I will continue to do those things that I learned this month, to probably doing more Starch Solution type meal during the day. But when we're together, I will give, and we will have things more similar, right? Let's see, number 5, I can make better choices when I eat anyway. When I eat away, but once in a while I'll enjoy a treat and not feel bad about it. And that's what I really, there were a couple times that I thought, it really was like staring me in the face. It was so gleaming at me that I would go out and let myself feel bad about going out and just having a treat. And I really had to actively tell myself, you have been like spot on all week, and there is nothing wrong with you sharing a small brownie with your husband after a normal meal if you want to, and just let it go, right? And I thought, wow, I didn't realize how much of a hurdle it can become when you're just, during the day, you're always conscious about not going over a certain amount of fat and calories and things like that when you're on a weight loss plan, and you become hypersensitive and don't realize it at times. Sometimes you just got to take a deep breath, and just let it go and go, man, I'm just going to really enjoy this moment right now. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to fall face forward into the birthday cake and start beating off the birthday child so I can have it. I just want one piece, and I just want to enjoy it, right? All right, what else did I learn? Number 6, I don't want to cut out whole food groups. I just don't, guys. I don't want to cut out whole food groups. And that might mean that, sometimes I got to cook something with a little butter. Sometimes I got to, have some yogurt or something like that. It's like, I don't want to cut these things out, right? But I want to be smarter about how I do them. I have cut out whole food groups in the past, and I was able to deal with that for a certain amount of years, but I think I'm just really tired. I'm not in a place where I want to go everywhere and say, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, I can't, make all these special, not that I'm okay with doing that for other people, but I myself am tired of doing that for myself. It's like, I'll do that to a certain degree, but I have lived in a place before where, people just didn't know what to feed me at all. And I don't want to do that to people. I can deal with this on my own, right? Anyway, number 7, eating a little bit of a lot of things rather than a lot of a few things works better for me, for a better balanced mindset for me. And I find that I feel doing it that way that I'm actually more in control. That's my final thought, is that I do feel more in control that way. And that's like super important to me, because I want to be able to make good choices in a way that is like riding a bike, right? I want to be able to be sensible about stuff. If my children have had jelly beans or an M&M or something, and they come over to me and they want to share it with me, and it like means the world to them for me to accept a gift from them, well, I take it and I eat it right there with them so that they can see how much, how happy it made me and how pleasurable it was for me to partake in something that was given from their heart. Now, in the past, I would have said, oh no, mommy's on a diet, or no, mommy will save this till later, and then I just put it away and don't have it. And, I used to do that with my mom. I would actually go to school, and every time they served us cake or cookie, I wanted that so bad, and I would sacrifice because I loved her, and I'd wrap it into a napkin, and I'd bring it home to my mom, and I'd give it to her as a gift. I'd even wrap it up and made her a card in class, and I'd give it to her. And she was so sweet. I'm not putting my mom down. I love her. But she would take it and she'd go, okay, mommy's going to eat this later. I never saw her eat it. And I never saw her enjoy the things that I gave her. And I always, number 1, I desperately wanted to share that with her and see her enjoy it. But number 2, I felt sad for her, because I felt for some reason that she was denying herself, and that, is this what happens when you get older, is that you give up all the fun stuff and you never share these things with people anymore, and it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to live balanced so that, when things like that happen, I can celebrate that moment. Right. It just makes me want to cry that, I miss those times with my mom. And there were other wonderful times and stuff that we did share, and it's not all about food. I know that. But sometimes, when an M&M is all a child can give to you, then I'm going to enjoy it. What else can they give to me, right? Except for their love, but this is how they're showing it. So it's like, you know what? So I really learned a lot about how I want to move forward with this. So the end conclusion is thinking about all those points and how this month went. It was wonderful, and I appreciate the experience. But the conclusion is that I don't want to do a hardcore Starch Solution in the future, near future. But I'm just going to stick with my WW Purple and lean heavily. Some days I will have Starch Solution meals. Very often I probably will. But I'm not going to say I'm on the Starch Solution. I'm just going to eat healthy and make sensible choices. And for me, that's going to work. So anyway, guys, just letting you know what's going on. I love you a lot. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you soon.